I'm State Representative Janine Nodder, and you're watching Chattin' with Janine. The topic this week is cybersecurity. It's a major in college, and there's a lot to it. My guest is Merrimack's own Wolfram von Schoen.
Wolfram von Schoen.
So, I saw you in the airport one time, and I was like, Wolf, Wolf, and then I realized, gee, that sounds really funny, yelling Wolf, Wolf. So, do you prefer Wolf or Wolfram?
Wolf's fine.
Okay, and then you're the only person I know who can correctly say my husband's name.
Stefan.
Yes. So I just call him Steve because I don't have the accent, and he doesn't like to hear it without the accent. So say it one more time.
Stefan.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Wolf, you have a job in cybersecurity?
Well, thanks first of all for having me today. I'm excited to talk about this because I know this has been hitting some people in the community just recently. So that's actually the reason why I brought it to you as a suggestion.
Right, and you're also a water commissioner. I meant to say that too.
I'm one of the, and thank you for the third term that I just got elected on. So I really appreciate the support from the voters. I'm actually self-employed as a management consultant, interim manager, and cybersecurity, information security is one part of what I do. I do some AI-related work and
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, thank you. I do some industrial consulting as well for manufacturing companies, just organizational development and software implementations, lean manufacturing, project management. So I do all kinds of different things as a management consultant.
Mm-hmm. I see. It looks like you have a whole presentation. I mean, I was just going to ask you questions about cybersecurity and what's that. But let's just go with the start of your paper and go through it. Like what is at risk?
Yeah, and I'm open for any questions. But what is at risk? At first, I need to throw this out there quick, a little disclaimer. Obviously, these are suggestions and meant to be helpful. There's no guarantee that this is protecting anybody from any cyber attacks or information security attacks. But I do hope that this is going to help some. It's maybe a little bit much in terms of the information that I'm sharing here, but I will try to be as concise as possible.
Well, we'll have to play it in reruns, so. Yeah, and plus it's online, so.
Yeah, and anybody that has any questions is welcome to reach out to me. I'm all over the Merrimack forums and the positive forums and all those forums that are out there. And obviously I'm available through the MVD website as well.
Well, they won't let me on the positive forum because I'm a Republican, so this isn't supposed to be a political show.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Well, so let's jump right in here. So first of all, cybersecurity is generally a little bit misunderstood. Everybody thinks about computers and viruses. It's way more than that. It's really information security. It's more often than not, you're actually being attacked through information and not through cyber, devices of any kind.
So by information, you mean like
people just capturing information and getting you to disclose more than you should be, and then using that against you.
So recently, I think it was this morning, I read that the hospital in Manchester was compromised, and people's social security numbers are now known. Somebody attacked. So that's considered cybersecurity attack?
That is probably really a cybersecurity attack, but again, information security really goes beyond cybersecurity attack. Basically, what is at risk is really your online banking, but even your regular banking. 401k accounts, right? Your trading accounts, Fidelity or whatnot. Investment accounts, your social media accounts are obviously constantly under attack. But even important documents you have on some cloud drive or in some iCloud or OneDrive or Google Drive and whatnot, or Dropbox, family pictures, even those on your phone are really under attack, easily under attack.
And they can use AI to do a deep fake.
Right.
So I guess we should define deep fake.
Right. Deep fake is really more when you pretend to be somebody else, or fake videos or pictures to be somebody else, and usually in some kind of compromising situation, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, they did that even in the 80s, or maybe it was the 90s, because I remember Alyssa Milano, somebody took her face and put it on another picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens, no doubt. But it really is as simple as somebody going to the doctors on your behalf, or ordering goods online on Amazon and creating a spoofed account and just ordering it on your behalf and on your dime, really. So it's really pretty much anything that is at risk. And the reason, or the way people get access to it, is by gaining information about you, gaining information from you. a big question is always who is at risk, right? And it's usually not necessarily a matter of wealth. It's not necessarily the wealthiest people that are at risk. It's really mostly people that are uninformed and unaware that are at risk. And that can be anybody from yourself, your neighbor, oftentimes elderly that are maybe not as computer savvy, even though, again, it's not necessarily computer related. And it's really about being unprepared and uninformed and being an easy victim. That's really what exposes you more than anything else. And I have a couple of things in here that are just going to make a big difference already to harden you as a target. It's going to be simple steps that are going to be helping already.
Well, I was just thinking of the camera on the computer. I always keep a Post-it note over it, and I know a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but again, that's probably, it can be compromising by any means to be in front of a camera and not expecting it, right?
But you wake up in the morning and, hair is everywhere and you're drinking coffee. It's like the last thing you want is somebody seeing you through that camera lens and broadcasting it to the world.
Yeah, it's not the best view in the morning, but that's certainly a concern, and ideally you don't have a computer in your bedroom in the first place, right? But most of us have to have phone on the nightstand anyway, so that's the part I'm not even going to get into right now, but even that you can protect yourself a good amount by doing the things that I'm mentioning here as well.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
The main thing really is to understand attack vectors. How are you being attacked? What are the angles of attack against you? It is really not always through the internet at all. It can come through snail mail. You can get a letter in the mail with a phone number or a link on it that is actually fake and leading you down the wrong path. It can be a phone call. Excuse me. Can be a text message. Excuse me. Can be a text message. Can be instant messaging. Even fax machines. Anything that comes in your.
There's a lot of fake messages that come over on Facebook, and sometimes they pretend to be famous people.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, and it's not them.
Yeah, and what we all see lately.
Or relatives, a fake relative.
Yeah. What we see, all of us are getting this lately. It's a new thing. Look who died, right? Or it'll be not the same without him, and it's actually some link, some malicious link that people want you to click on, and then ends up leading to a fraudulent site, right? And oftentimes it's not necessarily a virus, but it's a site that gets you to enter information. That's always
malware. What is malware?
So malware is basically you have viruses, you have worms. Malware is usually a software created to gain access to your infrastructure, to your computer, to your accounts.
Do you get malware by clicking on a link that's sinister?
It could be. That could be one way to get it. Another one is obviously very often email attachments, right? Any emails that you receive that have attachments that you didn't ask for, they're always suspicious. And it can be an inconspicuous attachment like a PDF or a TXT or a JPEG or whatnot, and it's actually a different type of file hidden behind it. And again, the moment you receive an email that with an attachment you didn't ask for, you need to be very, very careful.
Right. Well, when I send people attachments, I always make sure that I tell them that click on this link and this is from me, because I think more and more people are aware that there's a lot of bad links out there.
Yes, it is. So, as I said, most attacks aren't really primarily technical at all. Most of them are socially engineered. That's actually a term in the industry. They look at you as a user, as a person, at your behavior, as your profile, and they engineer their attack socially. So, are you
hacked? Most people say you got hacked.
Right, right. But the attack is really triggered and catered to you. A prime example is some companies receive invoices from other businesses, from their customers, but they're actually not from their customers. It's just a hacker that got hold of of the letterhead of one of the customers, took that letterhead, wrote up his own fake invoice, put his banking information behind it, and sends it to you as a supplier. And if you don't pay attention within your organization, it was the purchase order prior to it or a sales order, whatnot, all of a sudden you're paying an invoice to a bank account that you have been, to a client that you've been, or to a supplier that you've been paying for years on end, but all of a sudden that money goes to a bank account somewhere outside.
This goes right along with the show I just taped on financial fraud.
Yeah, same thing, right. So again, another big risk is USB sticks, any kind of removable memory media. USB sticks, SD cards, USB hard drive.
You mean what I'm using to tape this show?
Yeah, for example, yeah. Or if you want to share some pictures that you want to have as part of the show, and you do that per USB stick, that's usually or that's commonly an easy way to introduce malware into an organization. Yeah.
All right. So, what do we do?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit briefly about attack modes and what to do about it, right? So it always starts with somebody wanting to get you to do something without thinking, right? So you receive an email, you receive a letter in the mail, you receive a text message, you receive a call, your bank account got hacked, your email account got hacked, you're late on a payment. If you don't pay this right away, your water's gonna get shut off. You were caught doing something, on your webcam that you shouldn't have been doing, right? And if you don't pay this immediately, then you're gonna get whatever picture got taken is gonna be posted online. Somebody's gonna try to get you into a mode of panic, and there was always a time crunch to it. If you don't do this right away, something bad's gonna happen to you. The moment you get a message like that, you need to take a step back. Right, there's very little that can be worse than your savings getting wiped out. Right?
I just delete everything. Right. Everything looks fake to me.
So
even says the post office sent me.
Just don't panic. Nope. Take a step back. If it looks like it's coming from the IRS, what do? You go to your web browser, right? You type in irs.com, right, or whatever it is, .gov. I don't even know. The wife does all that thing. But you log into your IRS account from the web browser. You call the IRS with a publicly known phone number on their website. You don't go with the phone number that's on the email. You don't go with the link that's on the email.
The IRS doesn't contact people that way.
It usually doesn't, but people panic, right? So the moment you get an email that gets you into any kind of state of panic, that wants to corner you, that wants to put you under time crunch to respond, take a step back. It can't be that bad. Relax, calm down, get back to a known path, right, of contact. Your tax consultant, maybe your insurance broker, maybe it's somebody here in town that you trust. Call them up and say, hey, do you know anything about this? Did I get this? Am I really, in trouble here? Right? Can you clarify that for me? And more often than not, you're going to find out it's fake, right? And they're like, no, I don't know anything about this. So any of those links, any of those phone calls, any of those letters, validate where it's coming from before you do anything at all. And don't validate it using any of the information that you receive through the mail, through the email.
Yeah, I don't respond to any of those.
Message. Right.
I just
no
delete
links,
them
nothing.
immediately.
That's definitely one of the biggest one. The moment you panic and you do anything short notice, that's when they start getting you, right? Because now they have just established the second level of attack. Right? Now they can respond to you and what you're saying. Now you can ask them questions, and that are meant to solidify who you're talking to. But they're so educated and so professional at this that they will give you answers that make you feel comfortable. And all of a sudden you're like, the savior's here. I can, if somebody's going to take care of my problem, and I can address my issue. But in reality, you're giving them more and more information: your social security number, your birth date, maybe one of your secret passwords. What was your first pet, right? It's one of the classics. All those Facebook accounts. What was your first pet, right? What was your favorite band in the 70s? Those are all that is trying to do is getting you to disclose answers to your secret questions.
On Facebook, sometimes they have those, that's just for fun, fill all this out, and they ask you answer all those questions. And so they're data mining, they're getting all that information on you and storing it. So don't do those.
That's as simple as it is, right? So don't do those and stay away from that. So again, how do we fight back on this stuff? Again, when you get into a frenzy, take a step back, think, go back to known points of contacts that are validated, that are reliable, and start over. If it's true, if it's real, any customer representative of your bank or insurance or whatnot, 401k provider, they're going to reach out to you and give you the information, or they're going to answer your information reliably, right, if there's an issue. Don't be afraid to hang up, right? Hang up the call. Walk away.
I usually don't answer the phone unless I know who's calling me.
A little bit more proactive measures. This is where it gets maybe a little bit more technical, but I really want to drive a couple of things home. Your email account is your main point of attack, and of course, now I'm getting a call. Don't apologize for that. Your email account is your main attack vector. Once anybody gets into your email account, you have a real problem in your hand, because the first thing they're going to do is they're going to change your password to one that you don't know, and you're not going to get back in.
Well, oftentimes I don't remember my password.
and that's absolutely key. Email passwords are the first line of defense, absolutely. And why is that?
Because
Because
have a strong one.
Right, and unique. You can't reuse it anywhere else. You want to change it every so often, even if you just change it once a year, but change it every so often. Make it unique, don't make it something traceable to yourself. Family names, pet names, date of birth, 1, 2, 3, you all know the rule. But the key thing is to not reuse an email password. In fact, you shouldn't reuse any password for any account. Every account online should have, or not just online, any account ever should have its own password, right?
Yeah,
and not even
smart.
some kind of scheme that you follow, like some sequence of letters or something
But
like that you
remembering
keep
those
rotating.
passwords is very difficult.
Right, and we're going
Yeah.
to get to that in a minute. Right, absolutely, that is key. Email passwords are so important because how do we reset passwords that we forgot, right? For all of our accounts, for your eBay account, for your Facebook account, for your Prime account.
Yes, the
Amazon,
ever important Prime account.
They
Yes.
all right. They all go through your email account, right? To reset your passwords for all your accounts, it's always going through the email. That's why your email password is so holy. Don't share your email account with anybody. Don't give anybody your password unless you trust them 100%. And change your email password regularly. Keep it complex, keep it long. Use a long phrase, a password phrase, for example. The cow jumped over the moon. In 2024, right? That's a password that a lot of providers are using nowadays, and it's easy to remember.
Well,
right?
now I know it. The cow jumped over the moon.
Yeah, well, not that one. Anyways, so never reuse password. Keep them complex, right? And the reason why you don't want to reuse password is a lot of people are using one master password for everything, which means if that thing gets hacked, the hacker's going to try that in all other accounts that are out there.
Oh, that's a scary
And
stuff.
then they get into everything, right?
Yeah.
So don't reuse your passwords. Absolute key. Remembering passwords. That's a big one. Use a password manager. Password managers are little apps you can have on your phone. They're browser plugins. There's Keeper is one of them. LastPass is one of them. Unfortunately, LastPass got hacked 2 or 3 times, so I can't really recommend them. But they're still better than none, right? And they didn't get hacked like all the way, but and usually it's old data, but you never know how valid that data still is. But if you just go to your app store on your phone or on your smartphone. And look for password managers. There's
My
easily
youngest
tens
son
out
is
there.
in cybersecurity. I think he set something up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that with the password manager, the beauty is you only need to know one master password to open the vault, the password vault, right? And then you can create super long, super complex password, with
Letters,
ampersand sign
yeah.
and percentage sign and dollar sign and euro sign if you want to, right? And the yen sign and numbers and letters.
Accent aigu.
It's that's right. So it can be super complex, and you don't have to remember any of them because your vault is gonna save them for you, right? And they're gonna save them for each account. They're gonna autofill them for you if you want it, if you allow it to. And please don't use the password managers that are built into Windows, into iOS, into your Google Chrome browser, into your Firefox browser, into your Edge browser. Don't use those password managers. Use a professional password manager tool. They're very affordable. A lot of them are actually free up to a certain number of accounts. But if you use a professional one, when I say professional, a commercial one, they're a couple bucks a month, really. Over the course of the year, they're maybe 20, 30, 50 bucks for a family. They're not expensive. But they really, really protect you. They are a huge help. And what's really nice about them as well is you can upload documents at all times. Upload a copy of your birth certificate, of your passport, of your driver's license, right, of your will, right, of your living will. Load them all up into into these password managers, and now you have encrypted, protected copies of those documents. If your house ever gets if there's water damage or it burns down or whatnot, or you lose your passport on the road, you have a digital copy of it, right? Online on your phone, on your browser. You can use any browser to log into that database if you need to. You want to be careful with that, of course, in a hotel lobby or so on. That's dangerous as well. But on a trusted device, you can go online from any device in the world and download a copy of your passport, and that's better than not having any, right? It is also a wonderful tool for preparing for the bad days down the road. You get incapacitated to an accident or illness or something like that, or God forbid you pass. You can have your heirs and executors get access to all your critical passwords for your life insurance, for your Social Security, for whatnot, for your health insurance. So they can go online and do what they need to do to take care of things, of affairs, right? So it's a very powerful tool. And you can do that in a way that you can give them access without them having access yet, right? So you basically give them access, but they can't access it until you deny their access, which you can't if you're incapacitated, right?
So do you also recommend a paper trail, like having things actually written down on paper and put in a safe place?
Always a good idea, but the problem with that is somebody needs to know that you have that, right? If you give somebody access to this paper through one of those password managers, you notify your kids today that they have access to that, but yet they can't get to it until they request it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm on the Committee of Science, Technology, and Energy, and we've talked about EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. You know, like China could send up an electromagnetic pulse that will go up and completely wipe us out, take down our grid. We'll have no electricity. We'll have no access to our phones and those passwords.
Sure.
It's scary stuff.
That's a little further, down the or up the escalation ladder. Obviously, right? I'm looking for more right now for more the normal preparations that people do should be doing for the end of their life anyway. But you're absolutely right. A paper trail is helpful with that. The problem with the paper trail, and people again need to remember where it is, and it is much more exposed, right? Theft, fire damage, water damage, whatnot, is obviously easier to happen at your home than it is on some protected server bank that is somewhere underground from your hosting providers with these services. So, but ideally you have both really in place. You're absolutely right. A paper trail that ideally leads everybody then into this database of records, but at the same time you have hard copies available as well. Not of your passwords though. I would not keep your passwords out there in a safe or something like that. I would probably be careful with that. Yeah.
So you have to remember them.
No, that's and again, that's where a tool like that comes into play, right? So that's that. Two-factor authentication. That's a big one. Ever heard of that? Two-factor authentication.
Two-factor.
Yeah, it's usually abbreviated with the number 2, FA or TFA, two-factor authentication. What it is when you log into your bank account and they send you a PIN to your phone, right? And you have to punch in that number. That's basically what it is.
Okay, have to do that a lot.
And as painful as that is a very, very powerful way to protect your accounts. The only thing is don't use your phone for it. Don't use your phone number for it. There is so-called authenticator apps. And actually a lot of the password managers have them included as well. And what an authenticator app is, it's basically a number generator that creates a one-time password, which is usually a sequence of numbers. And that one-time password is only valid for about 2 minutes. And then it expires, and then it creates a new one. But when you set up that authentication, your online account and this app synchronize with each other. And that's how this app can give you a one-time password in the moment you look at it for 1 minute long. And that's going to be that second authentication that you enter on top of your normal password.
This is a lot for one show.
It is.
I'm thinking you should host your own show, Cybersecurity with Wolf and Schoen, and you can teach us all one week, just one topic.
We have 3 minutes to go. You're right. So this really is, it sounds a lot more complicated than it is, and I'll be more than happy to actually run people through a setup like that and show them how it works. But usually, and people can reach out to me anytime, and I'll be happy to help them with that.
What's the best way to reach you?
603. Want my phone number?
Sure. If you want Merrimack calling you.
A lot of people already have it in Merrimack, but 603-943.
943?
1614.
1614. So if they didn't get that written down, they didn't have a pen.
I'll be happy to walk them through the idea.
Facebook Messenger. Yep. You're the water commissioner. Is there, if they go online to Merrimack Water Villages, can they get a hold of you that way?
There is, I think, an email address, but that's not, obviously the one that I would use for any of this kind of support. It's my first name at mylastname.com, but my last name is a complete. Actually, I can give it to the guys at MTV to put it maybe on the.
Yes.
I love saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the end. Honestly, if you just take care of your email password you already covered a large portion of protecting yourself. Unique email password, complex password that only you know, change it about once a year, maybe change it every 6 months. You're gonna have yourself protected. You may get hacked in 1 or 2 accounts one day, but you're not gonna get hacked across the board.
I have 3 accounts.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is the state
Yeah.
account, but yeah, and there's no junk box. So now they just start isolating email. And I keep releasing the same people. I know these people can write to me, and they still, it keeps going back into an isolated, they isolate it, and I don't know why. And then others, I'll find them later. I'm like, oh, okay, well, next time I see that person, I'll tell them about that. Whatever bill they're asking about. So if the people watching this show, if they just remember one thing, number 1 is the email password. Very, very important.
And
make it complicated and don't share it.
And don't do anything in a rush when something bad happens online. You know, if somebody reaches out to you and puts you under pressure, you know, to call a number or click on a link or give them any information, no bank will ever put you under pressure, no matter how badly your account got wiped out. They're not going to tell you, you have to do this now or you're going to be in trouble. You know, it's just not going to happen.
The credit card companies do very good. They do a good job of watching.
They do.
Just a couple weeks ago, I had a card compromised, and I'm always so careful. Like, I take it out, I'll use it, put it right back, and it's in a protected sleeve. It was out for like a minute, just somewhere, and I think that must have been somebody must have been nearby, and they got it because they.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a large charge; it was under $13, but still, that's my credit card, and it's compromised now, so I had to have them send me a new one.
You know, there's maybe one brief thing that I would like to share is we have, if you're going out and you travel a lot, or like you're up in Concord all the time, or, you know, traveling throughout the state, meeting people, one of the main things you can do when you're in public spaces, like, you know, you go into a coffee shop or to, you know, Panera or whatnot, and using the Wi-Fi, don't use that network for anything that is valuable, right? You browse the internet if you have to, you know, maybe if you have to check your emails or something like that, go ahead and do that, but don't ever enter any passwords when you're on a network like that.
That's good to know.
Because it's a very, very open network, right? A lot of times it's not even password protected, and everybody can sniff what you're doing. Between you and your device, your laptop or your phone, and their network in the building, if people know what to do, they can find out easily what you're doing and read what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show
Absolutely.
and talking to us about cybersecurity. So
Be
safe out there, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching.